The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
Happy Friday, Cowboys Nation. Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign here in the SWBC studio. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Christy Scales. Ladies, how y'all doing on this lovely Friday?
It's nap time.
No, this is...
Wake up!
It is nap time, guys.
Sister. Y'all finna wake up today.
Don't you think it's nap time?
No.
Oh, all right. Well,
Nap time.
just me, I guess.
If I take a nap this early, I'm Mick useless later.
Well, we're past the prime nap time. I'm just saying.
Yeah, if I take a nap right now,
It's
I'm
done
not going to
for.
do sleep later.
Wow.
I know I'm an adult. My bad.
I need y'all to wake up.
I know I'm getting older when like my body automatically wakes up early. Like
Do
before
you
the
be
sun,
thinking
and
about
I'm
your
like,
bed? Do you
all
be
the
thinking
time.
about Christy? Do you be thinking
All
about
the
your
time.
bed?
Christy ain't thinking about Obed right now.
all the
right
time.
now. We got a game Monday.
All the time. I'm like,
Let's go.
I miss you, bed.
Game day. Game coming up this weekend. First Monday night game.
Of the year.
Yeah. And then Joe Burrow and the Bengals come in December for Monday night. So so unusual to have two Monday night home games in a season.
Yeah.
That's cray-cray.
But for
Yeah,
the
I don't
Cowboys,
ever remember that. For the Cowboys, yeah.
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 Especially.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. Cowboys, Texans. Who runs Texas? That's gonna be the battle.
It's right. That's right. No, it's
That's gonna be the battle on Monday night
Yes.
at AT&T Stadium. The Cowboys lead the overall series 4-2, with the Cowboys taking the last win in 2022. It went down to the wire, but Christy. All right, they have some history. Quite
my
a lot of
gosh.
history. Take us back all the way to 2002.
Yeah, I would argue, and Chris Beam, our producer, he may agree with me on this, but I think there are a lot of people that consider that game in September of 2002, which was the first game in the history of the Houston Texans franchise. Houston had been without a team for several years when the Oilers moved to Tennessee and became the Titans, but then they get the expansion franchise. And the Cowboys had actually practiced against them the previous month and actually played a preseason game at Little Robertson Field there in Houston, a preseason game. But the very first regular season game in Texans history in prime time, they bring in the Cowboys, and that was the Quincy Carter era, but they still had Emmitt Smith. They still had Joey Galloway. Let's see, Leroy Glover and Dat Wynn and Dexter Coakley. And the Cowboys lost in front of a national audience, 19-10. A guy named Billy Miller, a tight end for the Texans, catches a pass from Derek Carr, who was their number one pick, and I think that year, which was a tough year for the Texans, like a record for like most sacks in the season. Poor Derek Carr, but the Cowboys lost to an expansion team in the rival city of Houston, and it was basically downhill from that. Because that ended up being Dave Campo's third and final year as Cowboys head coach, and it ended up being three consecutive 5-11 seasons, and there were a lot of changes after that year. But Jerry Jones's face after that loss, and that was. I know that longtime Cowboy fans will say, oh, the worst loss was Jackie Smith, Hall of Fame tight end, dropping the pass in the end zone and us losing the Super Bowl to the Steelers, or more recent history, losing to the Packers last January. But I'm telling you, the Texans got it on the Cowboys that very first time.
It was the
And
first.
it was, their very first game as an expansion team.
Yeah, Texans became the first NFL expansion team to win its first game. That was since 1961. Vikings
The Vikings.
Before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that was a sad ride home. Luckily, it was only 40 minutes in the air.
Is it as sad as the others that have been happening this year?
Oh.
It was shocking because, again, that Aikman had retired and all that, and that's when Quincy, was it going to be Chad Hutchinson or Quincy Carter?
Yeah.
This wasn't one of the glory years of the Cowboys, but you do not lose to an expansion team in the season opener. It was pretty rough.
Which game was it? Do y'all remember? I know you might have watched it when D-Hop had that crazy catch.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? Was that was the year that was it the first year that
6
Coop came?
Might have been.
I think it was the first year that Coop was here.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. That would.
That one hurt.
That yes.
Because they
Yeah.
just couldn't tackle him.
Yeah.
You remember were they trying to get in field goal range or what were they doing?
Seems like it was.
It
And
was
that was when it was
he's-
Deshaun Watson.
It was Deshaun Watson
Yeah.
and D-Hop.
Talking about DeAndre Hopkins.
I apologize. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins just had that crazy catch.
Yeah.
It was like 3 defenders around him. He's juking people in the
What
open
year was
field.
that?
It
Let's see.
had to be like 18, 19, maybe sooner. I know it hurt. And because the Cowboys had played a good game to that point, and it just was it was crazy.
Yeah, normally with the AFC teams, the Cowboys only play them once every 4 years. And so since the Texans have only been around since 2002, they actually are the team that an opponent the Cowboys have played the least in history.
Oh, maybe I have a different one.
But crazy
Maybe.
things.
Oh yeah, 2018. In overtime.
In overtime.
In
Crazy
overtime.
things happen
When
the
they
Cowboys
play.
and Texans play.
It hurt me.
Ooh, I'm watching it now.
Yes, you
Aisha,
watching the
this
play?
Is traumatic.
I told you, I remember watching from my house like this is.
Oh, one,
Well, it's certainly
two,
been some.
3, 4.
How many tackles he missed? It was a
4.
million zillion tackles. I was
And
just like,
finally, you know who got
Never
him?
ending?
Leighton Vander Esch. There you go.
so talk about memories. I just wanted to bring up that memory.
Thank
'cause
you for that
that's-
happy one. I thought
I
mine
know.
was bad.
Oh, the downer.
That was
and you guys were saying I was being the downer for being tired.
It was an
Dang.
I forgot it was in overtime. I'm telling you, like that game was close. I was just like,
Some trauma like that I just block out of my mind.
There's another good memory though. 2022, Mukwamu technically sealing the game with an
That's right.
interception.
That's right.
Right.
Talk about
That
it.
was
Is
a
this
good
maybe
one.
like a Mukwamu game again? If he starts over
he,
Kalen Carson?
possibly.
That's
he
where
was
Jordan
benched.
Lewis missing time and
Yeah.
Yeah, he was benched last week. Israel
Carson
Came in.
This is
shoulder.
this is clutch. This is a big time for someone like him. Obviously, we talked about like everything that's going on within the building. Like him getting an opportunity to play his true position, and to be able to make improvements on the fly. I do think it does say something about what they think of him at the very least to put him in there after Kalen Carson. But I just wonder what they're gonna do because Al Harris is he's very high on Kalen Carson and his ability, and so what's the balance? Like, how do you continue to put confidence in him and not take away from that, but also to hold him accountable? This happens in football, like so it's like I wonder how they approach that.
I think with Izzy, he's somebody that I talk to a lot in the locker room. I would just kind of go catch up with. What I really like about him is any opportunity he would get, he was chomping at the bit for it. So despite kind of, I feel like being overlooked, and not necessarily by coaches, but by most people that you hear his name, the fan base, all of that, he doesn't lose confidence in himself. He's very coachable. One thing that him and I would always talk about is, hey, what'd you learn today? And it could be any point I went in that locker room, whether he had played for weeks or he hadn't. That man had something that he learned from his notes, from meetings, from practice. He absorbs like a sponge. So he's very even-keeled. I really like how he approaches his studying. And again, I just feel like he's overlooked. So a guy like that, like, I really want him to get that start. I think that would be great for him.
Yeah, and I wonder with his practice reps this week, because we know that Jordan Lewis missed some practice time, and Jordan Lewis, plays in the slot.
Yeah.
And so if Mukwamu is his backup in the slot, and then Josh Butler, who has been elevated from the practice squad the past 2 games, he can play in the slot as well. So it'll be interesting to talk to Mukwamu, talk to Al Harris and Josh before the game on Monday and see how that was all handled, the practice time during the week, because I think you're right. There could, Israel, I think, is going to get enhanced playing time as the season goes along. But when you're having to kind of divvy up your time in practice, whether you're outside or inside, it'd be nice if you can kind of settle and have, get to work, concentrate full time at one position.
Do you think they maybe put Kalen Carson in the
I think that they leave him outside.
I can't remember. I don't have my draft notes in front of me. I can't remember if I felt like he could play nickel. Maybe
I don't know.
We'll see. I need to go study myself and find out.
I don't doubt that he can, but would it be a wise decision considering all things?
It depends though, because this is when guys play nickel. Most of the guys that run the nickel, they're in the thick of things as far as contact, as far as getting through trash, and they get to put their hands on people. Like Jordan Lewis thrives in the press.
But Kalen Carson
that's his game. Right now they're having him play a lot more off and having to and again, there's nothing wrong with that. Like he's gonna eventually need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, that's me thinking out loud. I'll look into it myself and see what they view him as.
Well, the other thing is he's been dealing with a shoulder injury. So when you
Can't
play
put
inside and it's more physical,
That's facts.
it's more demanding physically in terms of maybe more contact. And so if someone's struggling with a shoulder injury, I wonder.
Yeah.
You think that's why they're playing off? Because that's what they did against Green Bay. They went into a total, and granted, this is a totally different coaching staff, but they did go into playing more zone because of Stephon Gilmore's shoulder injury.
And you saw a very clear difference.
Yeah, and then this game, this past game, the Cowboys played 5 yards off the line of scrimmage this game. I wonder what the thinking is. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I will look into that.
Yeah.
No.
It's fine. We'll find out.
I like it.
I also want to point out about Izzy. He's another guy that Bones Fossil is very high on. Bones has talked about him multiple times that I can recall, and just remember him talking about the work ethic as well. Again, a guy that's willing to contribute in any way possible. Give him the chance. I think we're all chomping at the bit to see it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like, at this point, you know what you have, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Tall corner. He
Lanky.
He has a tall task. He's not as lanky as what a Nashawn Wright was.
Yeah.
But he is a lanky guy. So one of the things you always worry about is like hip turn and how quickly he can flip his hips and run. So we'll see how he handles things if he gets the opportunity. And if Kalen Carson is still dealing with that shoulder, do what you got to do. He's gonna be here.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not trying to take him off the field, but if that is impeding on your scheme or some of the things you can run or him being able to play, then maybe there's an injury report. Christmas.
Speaking of,
It looks like
Not
Santa's
Christmas.
list.
I'm sick of you.
Yeah, there are 18 players on an
Dang.
injury report.
Oh, Lord,
And
that's gonna have to do it.
Atlanta had 13 yesterday themselves. It's just that time of year, ladies. You know, so they're gonna be trying to manage guys the best they can. It's ugly.
Yeah, and we should
It's just
note
a
that
lot.
normally on a Friday you would say, the official game status is someone is questionable, someone is out, someone is probable. But because the Cowboys play on Monday Night Football, that won't take place until tomorrow. So basically everything is delayed by a day. So we don't have game status, but at least there's an update on who practiced and who did not today.
For sure. And we have Kalen Carson listed as full. He did not participate in yesterday's practice. We have Jake Ferguson, who was full, who did not participate in yesterday's practice because of an illness. So that's a good sign. 2 guys who did not participate today. Jordan Lewis, Hunter Lipke. That could be huge because we were just talking about Jordan Lewis. Limited today, Zach Martin, who did not participate yesterday because of his shoulder. We have Tyler Smith, limited again today. He was dealing with a knee. He was also limited in yesterday's practice. But those were the major injuries that we had yesterday, which was Jake Ferguson, Jordan Lewis. Oh, not injury for Jake Ferguson. It was illness. But Hunter Lipke, Jordan Lewis, Kalen Carson from yesterday's practice, who didn't participate, but he was a full participant today. So does that change y'all's thinking?
I am sick.
Yes.
The Lipke and the
things.
Lewis
Yes.
and
Those
the
are
Tyler
young.
Smith
Yes.
are really concerning.
Wait. What
Tyler
was this?
Smith,
Knee.
he was knee, but he was limited today.
Yeah.
He was limited yesterday, too.
I have a feeling that Tyler Smith will probably play, but Lipke and Lewis.
Yeah,
That's
that stuck out
terrifying.
to me too.
You got Tank Dell coming to the house. And with Nico Collins being able to get, says what they've been doing with Tank Dell, Nico Collins is such a big downfield threat for them. He is more their vertical threat. It's really what helps open up their offense. And so in Nico's absence, they've been having Tank Dell run a lot of his plays. Tank Dell traditionally does a lot of things in the slot, but he's doing more outside. I really was looking forward to that matchup with Jordan Lewis and maybe seeing Tank Dell. So
it'll be probably Izzy, maybe?
I have no idea.
If they decide.
You guys, we've seen Izzy do some slot things. I don't know if he is quick enough to deal with a Tank Dell in the slot. The suddenness, like the how quick Tank Dell is out of his releases.
Yeah.
Whoever mans that nickel corner spot, that could be a big part of like what this defense looks like next week.
Yeah, and it's really different what the Texans have done, having to turn to Dell and Nico Collins not having him. And so it's almost in a way, I hate to say it, like diversified their offense just out of necessity when you can't. It's just like them losing Nico Collins for several weeks is like if you're without CD Lamb.
Yes. Yep.
And so not only young guys getting a chance to step up, but having to do, doing some things differently and playing to guys' strengths. And so Dell has been a guy that has really emerged for the Texans.
When you talk about the difference from this offense, the Texans offense with Nico Collins on the field and with him out off the field, you look at CJ with Collins, he has a 126.4 passer rating when throwing at Collins in 2024. The Texans went 4-1 across their first 5 games with Collins and have since now gone 2-3 without him. And CJ's passer rating is a 78.5 with 5 touchdowns and 3 interceptions without Collins.
I mean, that's
Dang.
a 48-point difference in your passer rating.
The QB rating drops 22%, and the completion percentage drops 14% when he's not on the field. He just that's the thing about, we talked about it yesterday, was the fact that so many teams are playing this too high shell or doing that. If you're going to split that, you're going to go over they are going over the top with Nico Collins, and he also too can work overs and things like that. So it's like I feel like I don't know. I feel nervous with, because Jordan Lewis isn't just out there either. He really quarterbacks a lot of what goes on as the nickel. So, who do you ladies think is going to take that spot?
Well, they better be prepared, whoever, because this will open up Slowick's play calling abilities as well. You're not solely just relying on your run anymore. You can open it up even wider.
You're right.
And that's kind of what he's been scrutinized about, is being more predictable with the run than the pass, and this just opens it right.
Yeah.
Mukwamu
or Butler.
Yeah.
In terms of,
I mean, you don't really have a choice.
And with Josh Butler and
You literally don't have a choice.
And we've seen Josh Butler in preseason. I've seen him have some passes defended. He has some feistiness to his play. He plays with some fire. I haven't gotten to see much of him in a real game setting. I don't think any of us have. So that would be a big opportunity for him to show that he can do things at the nickel.
Uncommon opponent, maybe. Maybe it could work to his advantage.
I don't know.
that.
I mean, look, if
I'm
he
worried.
comes out, look, realistically, yes, but also the lack of tape that they could have on him could work out in everybody's favor. To say you don't necessarily know his habits to study.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. Tank is a
But he better.
He's a natural at
Play his best.
at the position. So that's concerning. And Hunter Lipke and what he does, let's go to the trenches. We talk about this pass rush. We talk about having to chip these guys in a Daniil Hunter and a Will Anderson and those gentlemen.
It's a big loss to that.
This is a huge loss in the run blocking game.
My question would be, do you elevate from the practice squad of Princeton Fant or a Dalvin Cook to kind of counteract not
it would
having
be a
Hunter
Princeton
Lipke?
Fant. Every time I've seen Princeton Fant, I be thinking he's a full, but he's a big guy. But there are things that I did see him during preseason where you could tell he's getting it in a sense. Like, only thing that I want him to do is sustain blocks longer. Yeah. But as far as like I view him in a way as a fullback, so he might be the best option to your point. That's good.
That is a good point. All right, we're going to take our first break, and up next, we're going to give some flowers to a well-deserved lead back in this Mike McCarthy offense. We'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
Stay connected with the Dallas Cowboys on your connected TV. Catch up on all Cowboys content like player interviews, weekly TV shows, podcasts, docuseries like Deep Blue, and much more. Download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. You can watch a fantastic, amazing, superior podcast called Girls Talk, Boys Talk, sponsored by Invisalign. That's what I heard, at least.
Woo! Yep.
That scared me.
I like that.
I'm not going to lie.
I just felt like it was needed. It was a little too quiet in here.
This lady needs
I think
to
I
get
broke Chris Beam's audio board with that. Just with
Dang.
with
Yeah,
just
I know.
smoking right now.
I'm on.
Poor Chris. I know
Sorry, Chris.
I'm going to turn these down a little bit.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Nah,
I just feel like I needed
You know what?
That's
Nuh-uh,
good.
I'm
You
not
bring the
giving Chris
energy
a
for
pass.
our show.
Chris is fine. I be watching the other shows.
right.
He did with so much more loud people in the shows. There ain't no way.
Our poor soundboard is working overtime.
it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
We not even on the. We ain't even on the decibel level like compared to.
Maybe I should bring a little bit more.
Yeah, no,
I think
we
we're
didn't say
good.
that.
I think we're good.
I don't think we need a higher
I think we're
frequency.
good.
Okay. Just
Yeah,
like
yeah, I
All
think
the
we're
dogs
good.
in the neighborhood
Like that?
are now.
Congo down here would go a little crazy.
Did
Start
you hear what I
howling.
just did?
I'm done with you.
She said a little lower, so I said, whoo.
Boo.
Houston.
She booed you.
All right, y'all. Rico Dowdle being referred to as the lead back per Mike McCarthy. That was not from us. That came from the head man himself. How good did it feel to hear that? And I'm going to just go ahead and start with Jess, because I just know she's waiting to say
She got a lot
something.
to say about it.
No, you know what? I don't have anything to say. I just have one word. Finally.
That's it?
Finally. Like, is this... I know it's official by hearing it being said, but we've known this.
Yeah,
So
we have.
It's good for Rico, though, I think, to actually hear it being said and hear his name be talked about in the sense and be taken serious. Because what this allows is, keep in mind, Rico's going to be a free agent next year. So, if anything, this allows for him to be taken serious as a lead back in this league, whether it be with the Cowboys after the season or not. It does give him an opportunity to get his name out there, get good tape, and, you know, get more value for what his name actually is and the skills he actually has. I'm also tired of the storylines that has followed him for the last 2 years, and he's tired of it too. He will be the first one to tell you the whole injury this, injury that. Like, it is just not... It is not what defines him as a player. And so I'm glad everybody is finally dropping that and giving him his flowers. So here's my flower bouquet. There you go.
I love that. I love that. Hearing Mike McCarthy talk to the media here and then talking to the fans, it was like a complete difference. Well, no, because he had spoke a little bit more about, you know, Rico and what he's meant to this organization and what he's meant to Mike McCarthy. And he had brought up how, like, you know, they came in around the same time, of course. But he's just so proud of, like, the player that he's become and battling those injuries. And he brought up the kickoff return he returned for a touchdown, and just basically said that he just needed the opportunities. And so the fan asked him, well, how many carries do you feel like Rico needs to get a game? And he had said more than 25 carries. So my question to y'all is, how many carries y'all feel like Rico should be having a game?
Hey, if
On
he,
Monday,
if he gets
specifically.
25 carries, that's excellent news because they're actually running the ball, maintaining drives, converting third downs. Ideally, it doesn't matter if it's Rico Dowdle or Jess or Aisha or Nicole
It
or
won't be me.
That's the running back. If
Will
you're
not
getting
be
if
me.
you're getting 25
Yeah.
carries a game for your team,
My bad.
the offense is working the way it's supposed to
should be.
work.
Yeah.
And Mike McCarthy wants to run the
does.
ball like that. And he also said that ideally Rico would get, at least 3 touches in regards to catching the ball out of the backfield as well, because Rico's good at that. So, yes, you want a multiple offense, but the main thing is to establish the ground game. And so, yeah, that would be wonderful news if Rico's getting 20 to 25 carries a game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, put some good tape on film. Put some good tape on film. Mike McCarthy, people can say what they want to say. He's a good coach in that way. I think he understands the moment for Rico Dowdle and what this means to him. And I believe that Mike McCarthy has been an advocate for Rico Dowdle this whole time.
Absolutely.
And I believe that this happening is Mike McCarthy advocating for Rico Dowdle to get an opportunity to show what he can do. He's very versatile. We've seen that, and I agree with him. The growth that's been in his game, we talked about ad nauseum last year. Pass pro, pass pro, pass pro, pass pro. You know who your best pass pro running back was last year? Rico Dowdle.
Yep.
Stronger than Hunter Lipke, stronger than Tony Pollard even. So I think that he has earned his spot, and I'm excited to see him get going. And in regard to them running the ball more, they going to have to. They're gonna have to for whatever quarterback is out there. Like, you gotta find some type of balance, and threaten the defense in a different way. Like, they have been one-dimensional almost all season. We're starting to feel like maybe they're turning a little bit of a corner, and this offensive line also too is starting to become connected to Rico Dowdle and understanding how he likes to run the ball and stuff. You can tell they're starting to get a feel. So let's go play football.
Don't you
that's all that
Dowdle
you can
him.
do right now.
It's my favorite one. It's my favorite one.
The dough.
Nah, that's one of my go-tos. That's what. No. And here I go. Here, look, I'm walking back in. I'm walking back in. No, I'm walking back here, and I'm gonna say, don't you Dowdle him.
I know.
Don't you Dowdle him.
What statement?
Congo woke up.
Good. He was like, that was amazing.
I'm crying. What statement will it officially make if Rico goes out there and performs well, despite the outcome? If the Cowboys lose, if the Cowboys win, what kind of statement will this make if he goes out there and performs against this defensive line?
To ride off of Aisha's point, I think it makes more of a statement for the offense as a whole, and really the play calling and improving and kind of reading the room of what you have, the circumstances, like we kind of talked about on Wednesday, what exactly you have in front of you. And at this point, you're going to have a backup quarterback in. You need to help your backup quarterback. He cannot continue to get touched. You have a long rest of your season to go. You need him to stay healthy. It also tells you that, they sat, they reflected, and they understood what the weak point was of keeping the offense so one-dimensional. And this was something that when we had all the back-to-back-to-back Tom Brady broadcasts over and over, he really stressed about the Cowboys offense. And he made sure to make it known that you cannot do anything else other than pass the ball. And that's putting just too much stress on the offensive line, on the quarterback. And so at this point, with all the injuries that you have, that you're dealing with, that you're trying to combat, and yes, it's that point of the season for everybody, but especially over here for the Cowboys, you have to do what you have to do to minimize the workload and just play what's in front of you. Just do your job. Don't overcompensate for the guy next to you. And I think the statement it would make is, look, you don't have to go out the rest of the season feeling this miserable about everything you're seeing. It could give you a little bit of hope for some wins ahead. Even if it's not this week, it could be soon.
Yeah.
What you got?
The Cowboys did an effective job in the first half against the Eagles last Sunday running the ball. They really did. And part of that was because they had decreased really the past couple weeks the number of penalties. So they weren't falling behind the sticks as much and having to abandon the run. as they had in some other blowout losses earlier in the year where it was out the window after the first quarter pretty much. But it gives me hope.
Yeah.
Reflecting on that first half against the Eagles to know that they can do it. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I won't forget my thought.
I will.
That's why I say go.
Ooh, ADHD special.
Stop.
What it says to me is that, especially if Mike McCarthy's talking spicy like that, they not trying to just roll over. And I also, too, think, this is just me, I think it sends a message to your defense that you give a dang about them and that you're trying to go forward and figure out a way to not have them, leave them out to dry. Because like you mentioned, Christy, if you can run the ball that well, if he does have 20 carries, 25 carries, and is successful, that means you work in the clock. That means you're considering your defense. That means that you're trying to put them in advantageous situations. I think this defense can create turnovers this week. I really do. I think specifically on attacking their offensive line, I believe that they can navigate that and create some level of turnovers, whether that's forced fumbles or tackles for loss. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I think they can create turnovers. This offense figuring out ways to maybe try to capitalize off those opportunities is going to be important. But I think it sends a message to the rest of your football team, too, because with respect, they see the same film we see. And I think that a lot of them have seen that Rico seemed like he was ready to take it. And so it's take on most of the reps. So I think it's a good step in the right direction to me.
For him to have success, it goes back to what Jess was saying and what Jordan Lewis has been preaching all year, though. It's everyone who has to do their jobs, the offensive line, Cooper Rush, the receivers. And going back to kind of the receiver talk a little bit, I'll get to Mike McCarthy because I asked him a question about the separation, but I talked to Jalen Tolbert in locker room and just asked him, like, how much more important is it compared to any other time? Is it for you guys as receivers to do y'all's job compared to any other time before? And he had said, obviously it's more important, but he kind of got what I was picking up, what I was putting down. And he was like, it's more than just creating separation for you to get open. So running your route to win on your own. It's more about trying to run your route and creating separation for other guys to get open. And it's also about, maybe blocking and doing things like that to give other opportunities to other receivers. So I think that that's something that they had really been struggling with, per Jalen Tolbert. But I feel like they've started to kind of get the sense of, okay, like, every little detail matters now. Yeah. So I did want to point that out as well.
That's perfect.
And the tight ends blocking in the running game as well. Because you point to the offensive line. Yeah. We haven't seen as much 12 package, meaning one back and two tight ends in terms of like really, grinding it out. A lot of ground game with that because they hadn't been getting it from the tight ends.
Yeah.
You know why I'm about to throw up?
Why?
Because we sat here last year. I think I was over there, though. I don't know. Maybe I was over here. It don't matter.
Sat in this room.
I literally, screamed. We've talked about the lack of 12 personnel and the lack of being able to do some of these things that you need to do to go heavy packages and stuff because of the tight ends not being able to sustain blocks. We already know that Fergus is going through what he's been going through. But Schoonmaker and Brevin Span Ford specifically, it hasn't been enough. And it's like, all right, well, that throws plays out. It does. I'm sorry. If you don't have tight ends that can sustain blocks, help in line, and also to offer something from a receiving aspect right now, they're. I understand that Brevin Span Ford is still trying to get his feet under him, but Schoonmaker not being involved in this passing game has been very hurtful. Didn't know that Jake Ferguson has not had a touchdown this year.
Isn't that shocking?
That's very shocking.
It's shocking. But then it's not shocking.
Unless you've watched the games. But if I say Jake Ferguson going into the season, he's healthy, he's playing in all the games, he's playing nearly 70% of the snaps, and yet it's mid-November and he doesn't have a touchdown yet, None of us would have taken that bet going into the season.
It's frustrating more than shocking.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because all of us, we sit here week after week talking about red zone problems and issues and how can you solve that, red zone threats, and you have your tight ends for a reason. You have your bigger body guys that at that point they act as a receiver and are able to shed those blocks to go make the play in the red zone. And that just has not happened.
Yeah.
Like that's what's driving me crazy is the fact that you have the problem, but you also have the solution and you've just yet to utilize them. So for me, I question where the fault lies. And I think that goes across the board. I think it's coaches. I think it's players. But also, I question, especially for a Luke Schoonmaker, confidence-wise, where do you get to see that grow? Because you had that one game that Jake was out, and Schoon stepped up, and we all sat here and said, look, he did exactly what you asked him to do. He was your more consistent player during that game. And then, boof, disappeared. No more Luke Schoonmaker after that. So it's frustrating more than anything. But at this point, it kind of is what it is.
Yeah, I can tell you that going into the game, speaking with personnel on the sideline, an hour before kickoff last Sunday, the plan was for Schoonmaker and Brevin Spanford to get more reps. Remember, Luke had only had 3 plays combined the previous 2 weeks because they're trying to take some of it off of Jake because he's banged up and he's trying to work through stuff, and yet Jake still played like 70% of the snaps. So they're trying, but it just didn't. Circumstances, it didn't work.
What's his Barnacles? Mingo. So Mingo, he's not as tall as a tight end. Clearly, not as tall as a tight end. But if you watch some of his special teams film and what he's doing, he can do it as a blocker. It's impressive because of his size, and he has the wherewithal to do it. Even so, but also too in the usage that you can use. How you can use him. I think he can run seam vertical routes. I think that he can do some things in the intermediate game. I think that he can take slants a little like further. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like he's just gonna break a million zillion tackles. However, if you can't get anything from one of your tight ends, I wonder if they see. I'm very curious to see if they're gonna do some things with him being in line. Like being closer to the line of scrimmage, being closer in the formation, or him doing getting behind. He can get behind linebackers like a tight end would. Now, Dallas hasn't been attacking that side of the field. Dak didn't really do it as much this season at the seam route and stuff. But I say that to say, with Mingo's usage, I'm really wondering if they might try to do some tight end-esque type usage things with him and maybe look for that production.
Yeah, because of his body type. Because a lot of the viewers probably didn't get to see him play in Carolina, but body-wise, he looks more like a Des Bryant.
Yes.
Right, than a little Brandon Cooks or a skinnier CD. CD
He's
Lamb is pretty easy.
unit.
And Mingo's just a little bit thicker body type, more like a Des.
But to Aisha's point, you just had my wheels turning in my head. I wonder, because you brought up, both Schoonmaker and Brevin Spanford's usage on special teams. I wonder if bringing a Mingo in kind of lowers that percentage that they're involved in special teams to kind of up that percentage on the offense. Because I also feel like that's where you see most of your tight end usage right now. And, I think one or the other at that point would be okay. Maybe it doesn't drop down like their percentage for special teams for both of them, but maybe for who they deem is tight end 2 at that point, because that's still a question at this point. Yeah. Who's your tight end 2? Is it Brevin or is it Luke?
Right now,
Brevin.
So, there you go.
And
I just wonder if that's going to kind of facilitate you use Brevin more on the offense and take him a little less off of special teams.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I'll try and talk to Bones before the game and see what they have planned for Mingo in terms of what he can contribute on special teams. I love that.
I can't believe Brevin. I can't believe it.
Wait for real fast. We're going to switch gears.
Yes, we got to go.
We do have a low point from Jess about penalties. Houston has the 4th most in the NFL right now. So,
gross.
We'll be looking at Jess.
Okay, so here's my thing. And when I was looking this up, because I'm the penalty queen, something about those yellow flags, they hate to see me coming because I just love talking about them, apparently.
She needs help.
I have a type. It's red flags and yellow flags, apparently.
No.
Oh, my God.
Ma'am.
All right.
Wow.
To that point, Houston, 72 total penalties this season. Guess how many yards that is? I just want you to guess.
You said 22?
72.
Oh.
How many yards?
I know they've got over 400.
Over, yes.
It's like
600.
460 or something.
Over 600.
No way.
800.
Less. You're
750.
No, less. Barely
720.
over 600. Barely over
680.
620.
630.
Keep going down.
615.
Down.
610.
Down.
608. 606.
Two more.
604.
Boom. 600. I was playing The Price is Right. Jeez.
Y'all
All
oughta
right.
be ashamed of
But
yourselves.
604 yards this team has lost over the course of the season. 17 of which false start penalties. 16 of which offensive holding. So my brain goes to a Micah Parsons who seems to be very keen at drawing up those kind of penalties. Osa has been very good at it. Eric Kendricks, also another guy that I think you can really utilize, emphasize the holding, get those pre-snap penalties, because something that Houston has absolutely struggled with is obviously their offensive line problems, but specifically it almost makes you think, wow, you're not the only team in the league that has offensive line pre-snap penalties. This could be a universal thing. And when they were asked about it, very much same tone as the Cowboys when they talk about it. Look, we'll look at it, we'll address it, but it could be a perfect feeding frenzy for your Micah Parsons, who is back. And I just wanted to point that out because he's great at those. He is great at drawing those kind of pre-snap penalties. So for me, this is the game I'm glad to see Micah back in. Of course, I'm glad to see him back in any game, but to take advantage of something like that. There you go.
Well, we got to take our second break. Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Penalties, yeah.
Wow, we should not be that excited. All right, up next, we're going to be
Not
talking
if they're the
about
Cowboys,
what
no.
player will make you smile on Monday in honor of Invisalign and our dog segment. So we'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk after the break.
Love that.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Amanda Foster has been named your 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, for her dedication to the team and spicing up the game. Vote for Amanda to be named the Ultimate NFL Fan of the Year at NFL.com.
I'm sorry.
She is a delight.
I'm not laughing at Amanda.
Amanda is a delight.
I'm laughing at Aisha.
Vote for her. Vote for Amanda.
Go vote for our girl, Amanda.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
It was so cool to have her here last Saturday, two Saturdays ago.
That's nice.
Yeah.
She deserves our votes.
That's
Go vote
awesome.
for her right now.
I wish I could really
Don't.
zoom in.
Why would you do that?
Zoom in, y'all.
You can.
Don't do
Really?
it.
Yeah, you
'Cause I would
can.
love this. Can we zoom in, Chris? I'm sorry.
Wait, it disappeared.
Hold on.
Turn it back on. Turn it back on.
Because y'all need to see Aisha's face.
That's too long. Okay, wait, what was I doing that to?
I'm sorry. I have no idea.
I think it's probably when she hooted real loudly.
Probably. I don't know, but we got it on 4K, so it's no problem. All right. This segment, all right, every Friday, we'll be featuring, wow, I was about to say that so wrong. Invisalign has a segment that we will be bringing to you that will feature what player do you think will make you smile this week on Monday Night Football. Let's go.
I can't
What
look over here
player
right now.
do you think will make you smile?
You know what I thought about? Let's rock today. That's what I thought about.
Go away. The door. All right. What player do you think will make you smile this week, y'all?
Or make this face.
Yeah. Who's going to make you do this?
That was gold. I'm glad I saw this. I'm sorry. That's your new
I was
contact photo.
gonna say, that's the group chat pic.
It's Home Alone.
Aisha's version.
Okay.
We gotta get to this segment.
I'm going to go
It's because
with...
I looked down and it was there.
What you got, Christy?
I'm going to go with Trayvon Diggs because
that's a good one.
I
Really
think
good.
that the defense is going to be able to create a little more pass rush this week against the O-line. And Trayvon kind of getting back on track. What a great interception in the end zone that he's had. And and it's mainly been without Nico Collins, but C.J. Stroud has been throwing the ball to the opponent a little bit more, and I know Collins is back this week. But I think that the Cowboys can maybe get things turned around on Monday night in terms of increasing the takeaways.
I love that. That's a really good one. I'm going to go Cooper Rush. I know, bit of an interesting pick here, but that's because I fully have confidence that what you saw last week in Cooper Rush was the more I've thought about it, the more I've watched, the more I've really studied into Cooper Rush this week. What you saw was his preseason game last week. That's what we're going to call it, his preseason appearance. And that's not actually what you get out of Cooper Rush because genuinely he is a great backup quarterback for this team. The guys trust him. And to me, I think you would absolutely know if Cooper Rush was not somebody that was well-liked amongst the locker room. They have faith in him. And at this point, I'm just excited to see a better version of Cooper Rush and see what he can kind of develop and get into. Maybe open up the packages a little bit more for some Trey Lance like we saw from Mike McCarthy. But I think until then, you just focus on what Cooper Rush can do. And I really don't think you see the same version of Cooper Rush as you saw last week.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to go with Carl Lawson. I think either they're going to, because Laramie Tunsil is a heck of a player. I'm wondering if Zimmer goes, because there's multiple places to attack this offensive line. I don't think that Zimmer would just put Micah over there just because.
Yeah.
But I think that Carl Lawson can draw some attention with his play. He's been slowly but surely as the season has gone on, you're seeing more of that pop off the line of scrimmage and some of the hand fighting. So I think that he might make me smile a couple of times, even if he's not getting the sack, drawing the pressure, or being the decoy.
Yeah.
Even so. So that's mine.
I like that one.
I like that
That's
one
a
too.
really good one.
I'm going to go DeMarvion Overshown. Because
Attack
Sorry,
that
y'all.
A and B gap
My bad.
blitz.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yes.
just with obviously I believe that the front will get home. But you have a guy like Joe Mixon who is held to a season worst in terms of yards per carry, 1.8 last week against the Lions. And I think that DeMarvion Overshown's been all over the field really this whole season. And I think that he's gonna cause a really big problem for Joe Mixon. So I'm gonna go Demo.
I like
Yeah.
it.
I'm gonna go Demo.
Perf.
Oh, this is fun.
That's interesting. 3 of our picks are defense.
Yeah. Because
That's
his
what we
defense
feel
been
the
lighting it
strength
up.
Well, shoot, somebody's gotta be a little
spirit on you
optimistic
today.
over here.
Got a spirit on you today.
I do. Probably.
The screaming spirit.
I was gonna say that kind of.
Gonna need new headphones.
Well, this was great, guys.
Yes, that was fun.
We didn't get to our dog segment.
We can
Pick
we
a
can do
player and we'll go say dog.
All right,
No
we got one.
explanation.
it. Okay.
Let's
Yeah,
do
just
it.
Pick one.
Let's go.
Wow.
Jonathan Mingo, because, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just because
That's-
he's
I
new
I
to
would
the
go
team.
with the dingo because it rhymes with Mingo.
It's giving bingo from Bluey. But
a-
all right.
A dingo.
dingo.
I know what that is.
You know, the dingoes took my baby. You know that one from A Cry in the Dark?
No.
Oh, my
I don't
ladies.
even.
It's an Australian wild dog,
Okay.
but it rhymes with Mingo.
I like that.
Mingo
like
the
that.
dingo. I
What
like
you
that.
got?
I'm gonna go a boxer. I'm gonna go a boxer because they can be a little underestimated. I think sometimes for their strength, their loyalty, their abilities, and give him boxer because they can be one heck of a dog. I have half of one. I have a whole dog, but he's half boxer. So
You heard Chris.
no, what do you say?
There's also a boxing match at the stadium. Woo!
Yeah,
Mike
Jake
Tyson.
Paul, Mike Tyson tonight.
Let's go. All right, sorry, my bad.
All right, I don't
There we
have to do a dog. We can just go.
What?
I can't think of a dog.
Just think of a dog.
For him,
Yeah.
I don't know
Bluey.
him.
Yeah, I love
Bluey?
Bluey.
I'm screaming.
What's a Bluey?
Bluey's a Disney cartoon. I let my dogs watch it while I'm not.
I don't have a dog for him.
Well, I googled a dog because I ain't got no dog, so I had to really dive deep. I think it's called a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
A Rhodesian.
That's how you say it?
I'm familiar with those.
They're
big
strong,
ones?
agile dogs with high endurance that was bred to hunt lions in Africa.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
familiar with.
Alright.
I'm familiar with Rhodesian Ridgebacks. That's
Yeah.
very funny.
So
Cool.
That's a good one. I would have picked that one.
What's yours?
Good.
Well, what's yours? We're waiting.
For him,
Yeah.
he's a large human just needs shot. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna be very cliche and I'm gonna go with the Roddy because they're very unsuspecting, but they have so many different ways that you can use them and what they can do and what they're capable of, and they will truck you over. And I think that he has the capability of trucking you over.
Their
that.
grip.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Love you, McScrappy.
This was great. This has been great. The Cowboys kicking off against the Houston Texans. H-Town. We'll see y'all Monday night. All right. For Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, Chrissy Scales, Nicole Hutchison. See y'all.
Oh my gosh, it's been a long week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?